So I receive lots of comments on lots of my videos where people will say they're trying to learn a particular skill. It can be anything in the game and they're struggling with it for some reason or other. And can I help? Now, obviously without seeing them play, it's impossible for me to say what it is that they're doing wrong. But something I often say to them, and which is what I want to try and cover here, is that it might not be the actual skill that they're struggling with. It might be that their fundamental skill level is not sufficient for them to be able to execute this new thing they're trying to learn. It might sound a bit complicated, so what do I mean by that? What I mean is, say for example, you're trying to learn to aim. The last video I did talked about ghost ball system, and if I want to pop that ball to the corner over here, we sight a ghost ball, we come over and we aim at the centre of that ghost ball to make a pot into the corner pocket. Now that's fine, and you might understand all of that. You might be fine at sighting it. You're coming around, you're sighting the centre of the ghost ball, you're coming around to here. I know where I'm aiming, I know what line I'm aiming along. But then when you come down to take the shot, you're missing. And you're thinking, oh, what am I doing wrong? And all I did wrong there was I didn't deliver the cue properly. You probably saw I got down quite casually, wasn't really set in my position, and you probably saw the cue ball spinning lots, telling you that I put lots of side on it. I put lots of side on that ball, pushed it offline, and it didn't go where I was aiming because I've not done the fundamentals of delivering the cue in a straight line. And that's really all I'm talking about. There are loads of things you need to learn in the game of pool, and unfortunately with all of them, unless you can get down with a ball in a dead straight line and pot it consistently over and over again in a dead straight line, you're going to struggle with everything else. So I would suggest, if you are struggling with anything, just go back, and it's a good exercise to do regularly anyway. Just go back to basics, as boring as it sounds, and hit some balls in a straight line. And make sure that you are doing those fundamentals correctly. And when I say consistently, I don't mean 100% of the time. Not everybody's perfect. Obviously, if you're a pro, you should be able to do this over and over again. But I will miss balls in a straight line quite regularly. I am nowhere near perfect in my delivery of the cue, and it's something I know that I need to work on a lot more. I struggle with long pots, and it's a really good indicator of how good your fundamentals are. So set yourself up with a dead straight shot. You can either do it by eye, just make sure, stand right back from it and make sure that you are aiming to the heart of the pocket and that everything is perfectly in line. You don't want any sort of little angle on it. And then get down and shoot the shot to the corner pocket. Don't worry about any spin. I want you to hit the cue ball dead center. Yeah. And if you miss, so I'll try and play this in a certain way that I miss. It might go in, but hopefully I can miss. If you miss, take note of what happened. Which direction did the cue ball go? Cue ball went to the right. And where did we miss? To the left. Those two things will usually go together. If you miss one side, the cue ball will go the other, indicating that we hit to this side of the ball, sent that way, and that way. Hit the whole rack, get the whole rack out and do the same thing over and over again. And record how many are you getting. If you're getting 12, 13 out of those 15 balls, then you're in pretty good shape. If it's a lot less than that, then you need to start analysing why. which is why it's important, like I said, to take note of where things are going. So it's all very good, all very well and good saying, okay, I'm missing. What am I doing wrong? It's not always easy, and it's the hardest thing to do, to self-analyze and work out exactly what it is you're doing wrong. Now, I can tell you, because I did it on purpose, that I missed that one I lined up a minute ago because of my approach to the shot. Instead of walking into the shot, getting down, steadying myself, I rushed. I got down and just smacked the ball. And it's the most common thing from amateur players. They just don't take any care over lining themselves up for a shot. So start with that. Make sure your approach to the shot is correct. So stand back. We're in a dead straight line. I know we don't need to sight anything, but make sure you're looking along that line and make sure you step into that shot line. I've got lots of videos on all of these fundamental parts of this, so I won't go into detail. But you step into the shot, make sure you're lined up correctly. Then take a little bit of time. When you're feathering backwards and forwards, make sure you can see that cue going backwards and forwards in a nice straight line. Flicking your eyes between the two. Then make sure you have a pause. And then deliver the ball. And you can see the difference between that and my casual approach to it. If you're still missing at that point, then you need to start working out what's wrong with the actual mechanics of what you're doing. It's probably that you are doing something with your elbow or your hand that's not quite straight. So if, for example, I come down to the shot and my back arm is wobbling a little bit. I'm coming through here, the cue's not coming through in a straight line. That's going to mean that as I come here, I'm going to push and put side on the ball and I'm not going to hit things straight. That's not always very easy to see for yourself. You might notice it when you're feathering that's not moving correctly. So have a little look back at that arm. Make sure that arm is coming backwards and forwards in a straight line. Make sure that everything's still. Make sure you're not moving around. Make sure your head is still. You still might not be able to see it because these things can be very fine and very subtle. So it may be a case that you might need to get a camera for some help, or a friend if you've got someone who knows what they're looking for. I tend to use cameras a lot. Most people have got a smartphone these days where it's quite easy to film some slow motion footage. Set a camera up in a position, if you want to check your back arm, set a camera up, preferably either on a tripod or somewhere stable so it's not moving. You don't want it handheld because you won't be able to see anything. And study the action of your cue arm going backwards and forwards. Make sure it's moving in a straight line. Check it from a front view, check it from a rear view to make sure it's going backwards and forwards, check it from the side view. Another good thing to check is your cue going backwards and forwards from above. So if you're able to get a camera above your cue, check that your cue is going backwards and forwards in a straight line as you're feathering, and particularly when you take the shot, because sometimes a lot of people will feather nicely and then when they take the shot, they snatch a little bit. They don't pause, okay, I made that pot there, but it's just that snatching action and not sort of smooth delivery of the cue. Another thing to look out for is make sure you're staying down on the shot. A lot of people will do everything correctly, step into the shot nicely, pause, and then as they hit the ball, stand up. And as soon as you do that, everything is moving. You see how far I missed that shot by. Because just the action of standing up, I'm getting up, my hand is moving, it's coming away from my chest, everything's going off. So get into a good habit of staying down. So as you deliver the cue, you stay there and stay down so that everything is really static as you're pushing the ball through. And again, film that from front on to make sure you're not standing up before everything's finished. And just do this over and over and over again. Once you've got this and you know that you can consistently put that ball in a straight line, then you should find it's a lot easier to move on to the next things. Then when you're trying to aim for a certain point, you know that you are delivering that cue ball to where you're aiming. If you're trying to do, I know it's tempting, everybody's the same, I was the same, you want to do the fancy stuff, you want to do the screw back, you want to play with loads of side spin and all the rest of it. But trust me, if you can't do those fundamental things first, there's no point in even trying those because you're going to fail. And you won't know why. You'll think it's because you're playing the shot wrong. You'll think it's because you're aiming wrong, when actually it's just that you can't deliver the cue in a straight line. Hopefully that helps people to realise what they're doing wrong with things and not spend too long worrying about other factors when it's really about just the basics. Just a quick shout out to our sponsors, Table Time Sports. They're an online retailer selling pool cues, balls, accessories and pool tables. There's a link to their website above, and if you purchase anything, as a Pool School viewer, you'll grab an extra 5% off all purchases along with free delivery. And all you need to do is enter the code POOLSCHOOL5 in the discount section. If you want to see more practice routines and pool tutorials, then please remember to subscribe. And if you're interested in any of the equipment I use in this video, then there are links in the description below.